let's talk about defensive news first. Za'Darius Smith is still injured, dealing with injury. He practiced on a limited basis again today. LaFleur talked about how they need to string together some days for him to play. Still dealing with a back injury. Definitely not a good thing for a mobile guy like that. If he doesn't play, I think the Packers' lack of depth sort of reveals itself quite a bit because we have the starting outside linebackers in Preston Smith, Za'Darius Smith, obviously. No Za'Darius Smith. They'll bring Rashawn Gary there. At that point, the only outside linebackers on roster are Jonathan Garvin, who I think is okay, and then Chauncey Rivers, which I don't know. Like, I just feel like it's Chauncey Billups and pads. Like, that's the only thing I can think of. But I've seen him play. He's also not very good.
That's what I was going to say. He's probably the love child of Chauncey Billups and Phillip Rivers.
I was going to say Doc Rivers, but maybe
not. Name one Chauncey that has ever worked in the NFL. Can't name one, but I can name at least one from the NBA. I don't know if there was another one. I really don't, but
either. Yeah, there's at least one for sure. And he's not a good guy, apparently. That's what I've heard.
No, he's a horrible person.
Yes. But we've talked about this entire show's existence, I guess, about the lack of depth at linebacker. And, man, like, I don't get it. Like, just have a body. Because having just one backup at each spot, if Za'Darius Smith doesn't play, that is extremely alarming. And then we look at inside linebacker, Chris Barnes, Devondre Campbell. Okay. The two backups are Oren Burks, Ty Summers, and then Isaiah McDuffie is there, I guess. Like, that's also super thin. And this is a defense that the way they play sort of reckless, it needs to be a constant rotation of guys, I feel like, for energy. And if there's that super long drive where they can't get off the field because of maybe they don't get a good enough pass rush because, I don't know, maybe Za'Darius Smith doesn't play. Like, I think this could turn ugly kind of quickly, unfortunately.
I'm kind of in the mindset that I would rather have Rashawn Gary's hand in the ground rather than him going back into coverage. Whatever that defense details, I'm sure Rashawn Gary is going to be rushing a lot, doing whatever. But like you said, it scares me that Za'Darius Smith is going to be hurt and Chauncey Rivers is the backup outside linebacker.
Chauncey Rivers. Like, it's just Chauncey Billups, right? Like, I can't think of anything else.
This is making me actually really laugh because we've gotten to the point of the podcast where it's actually going to be hilarious. Like, this is going to be such a Dollar General version of The Last Dance that everybody's talking about. Like, we have no bodies. Like, we have me, a.k.a. Isaiah McDuffie, as the fifth linebacker. And that's assuming that an outside linebacker doesn't get hurt first where he needs to slide over there somehow. So we got that. We got two dudes who cannot block on the offensive line. It's but we have a punter, ladies and gentlemen. We have a punter.
We do. I'm pretty jacked about it.
But if he misses a tackle, like, that's a sign. Like, guys, we just got to pack it in because this could go, like, really well, and it could be one of those games the Packers have every year, kind of like the Titans last year, where it's like, oh, my God, the Packers are going to win the Super Bowl. It's also equally likely that this team loses and nobody goes, what the hell happened? It's like, well, I'll tell you what happened. Everything. So it'll be interesting. I'm excited.
Are you? I mean, I'm excited to see what happens, I guess. Anything could happen. I know the odds are more likely that the Packers are one and done in the playoffs than anything else, but we'll see what happens. Up front, Dean Lowry is backed up by Dean Lowry, essentially, in Tyler Lancaster. And then Kingsley Kiki's on the other side, backed up by Dean Lowry, which is Jack Heflin. We got the same guy everywhere. They won't know when we're subbing. They'll all wear the same number. Jesus, like, we know what we like, I guess.
Dean Lowry is the Monty Williams, the Green Bay Packers.
There you go.
He is everywhere at once. You don't know who he is, but you just constantly see him, and you're surprised he's there. That's a throwback to a very old FlurrySports podcast episode. Yes. But yeah, I mean, it is interesting. It's kind of sad that it's gotten to a point where I'm like, oh, Dean Lowry. Okay, we're fine there. He hasn't been good. It's kind of more for a meme why I make fun of him. But, I'm glad at least we have some guys. How they turn out, I don't know. But at least we have some sort of depth, some sort of guys that we know can play. And if there's ever a dunk attempt, we got TJ Slayton. So
I will say this, like the backups, the twos, I think they're decently solid. They're good rotational guys. But here's one injury that makes the entire season done. If Kenny Clark gets hurt again, like he keeps getting hurt, we have 6 defensive linemen to play 3 spots. So if Kenny Clark gets hurt, TJ Slayton is the starter, and there's no backup, and Slayton has no conditioning. So now you're rotating Jack Heflin into that no spot probably, and there's nobody to back up Kiki except for, I guess, Dean Lowry, maybe. Like, I don't know. Like, what injury? Just Kenny Clark being done, or Kenny Clark just not playing 75% of the snaps? They done.
it's going to be like an assembly line. Like they move down one spot and the guy on the end runs off the field. It's going to be like that.
But then you're also asking Slayton to play a lot of snaps, rotate in and out, and he can't do that either.
Just tell him to fall down in the middle of the field.
Dude, once he learns
honestly,
how to
it's
breathe,
good
he's
enough.
gonna be a monster.
That's kind of what BJ Raji did, right? Like,
Right. If he learns how to breathe, he may be Gilbert Brown.
Honestly,
that might be the funniest sentence of all time. If the man learns how to breathe.
oh man,
If you can tell, we're in the acceptance part where we laugh at all of our problems. That is what is going on here.
Very true. Very true. We're suddenly a very pro Dean Lowry show. Everything's fine. Chauncey Billups is starting on defense.
Hey,
it's
this corner of the podcast has always been a pro Dean Lowry podcast.
I think he's fine. Like at least he's multiplying. That's kind of cool.
Okay. Tell him to keep going again because we need like 2 more of them once Kingsley Kiki or somebody gets hurt.
Anybody gets hurt, like this is going to be a disaster. Okay, let's get over this part. Jair Alexander starting at cornerback 1. Great. Kevin King's at cornerback 2.
Yes.
And we're back.
There we go. What are we doing? We're running it back. Like we went all in. That's what this is. I don't get it, man.